Ladies and gentlemen, whether you've been watching my channel for a long time or you're just getting into it, you should know I have a playlist. The playlist is called How to Lose at Chess. That is because in this playlist, I analyze and break down some really fascinating regular chess games played by regular people all across the world. Some of them have been submitted to me, whereas some have simply been brought to my attention. And I'm currently on a little trip here. I'm staying at a place that's not my normal place. But I had to take a few minutes out of my day to show this game to you because I just can't take it anymore. Sometimes I see chess games and they're so terrible that I need both of our days to be ruined, you and me, and the potentially hundreds of thousands, if not seven figures of people who are going to watch this video. So I have nothing else to say. Let's go. This was a game played between two players rated 900. Now, admittedly, they played on Chess, which is the other major chess website, and there's a little bit, they're probably more like 600 level players on chess.com. Still, the play was inexcusable. Okay? But we are going to look at this game, and we're going to laugh, we're going to learn, we're going to cry. Those are going to be the three emotions that we experience, I hope. By the way, I've never actually recorded a video with a clock behind me, so you can watch the clock go up. I don't know, maybe that'll be satisfying to you. Okay, so Parsnip versus Zongo. Parsnip is a parsnip, and Zongo is a waterfall, apparently. I didn't know that. In the Congo. There you go. I don't know if that person named themselves that to dedicate themselves to that waterfall or not. But here we go. We have e4, we have d6. Okay, for now, chess.com giving these moves the book moves. Everything makes sense. Pawn to d4. Okay. Pawn to e6. I think Game Review just didn't want to make black feel bad already. This is called the small center defense, obviously, because the center is small. It's not any good, though, because you're blocking your bishops. You need at least something in the center, ideally. You don't have to, but then your setup should make some sense. This is a completely reasonable move for this level. I don't hate this move. Still, I would not make forward pawn moves unless they had threats on the knights. Now it is high time to develop both of your knights. But whatever, I'm not going to backseat just yet. Black takes, white takes, black plays knight d7, which again doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because you've blocked your bishop. But if you're going to go b6 and bishop b7, God bless. Knight f3, and that is in fact what black goes for. The computer is giving it a question mark because it's not the right way to set up. You're basically moving your bishop into an apartment that stares at a brick wall. I don't know why you would do that, but maybe you live in New York City, and that's the best that you could do while paying $3,500 a month. By the way, I'm not sure if you know this. I think recently, average rent of a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, New York, crossed $4,000 a month. I think. I might be spreading misinformation, but that's what the internet is for. That's bananas. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, and this bishop wants to live in. He's only going to be paying $3,300. So white now does something that I need to condemn basically immediately. Here, white does not play like a 979. White plays like a 79 and goes, you're going to put the bishop there. Me too. Yeah, look, you should be putting your bishop out to the traditional squares, and then you should be castling. There is no need to copy the opponent. You basically just behave like a toddler who saw somebody else get a treat. I mean, that's... Right, b3. Okay, now let's bring out the bishop. Okay, we couldn't even finish that thought process because we thought that the bishop was attacking the pawn. Now, again, in a nutshell, in a vacuum, I don't actually care about the move knight c3. I actually quite like the move knight c3. But it's already protected. Anyway, knight f6, fantastic. Bishop b5. Yeah, look, again, it's the top move of the computer, but practically speaking, what's going to end up happening to this bishop is you're probably, I imagine you're going to trade it for the knight. Is that what happens? Yes, that's exactly what happens, which is terrible. It's terrible. It's completely, there's no point just giving away a light squared bishop. If you basically cannot explain to your 6-year-old relative why you traded the bishop for the knight beyond, I don't like knights and I don't really care about, trading pieces, you need to be able to explain yourself. Otherwise, keep the damn bishop, because it's better in the long run. In more positions than not, a bishop is better than a knight. Y'all gotta stop doing this bishop and then taking the knight once you get attacked, like figuring it out when we get there type of a thing. You guys gotta stop doing this, and you will gain rating points, I promise. So, bishop b5, bishop takes. Queen takes. Nice. By the way, I still am waiting for this move, which clearly you played to copy your opponent. Black plays a5. This is a fascinating move. Now we are going to enter a phase of the game which, without exaggeration, and I don't mean any offense by what I am about to say, I mean no offense whatsoever, what we are about to witness is one of the worst middle games played between two 900s, probably in the history of humanity. And I mean that with zero disrespect for the players. Okay, maybe some disrespect, and also I may or may not be exaggerating for comedic effect, which I do quite frequently on this channel, but then I still try to educate. Now, the move white should play here without even thinking is rook e1 check. Knight a4, I mean, I don't know, maybe you need like a MRI of the brain, frankly. If you ask me to explain this move, I would tell you, well, white wants the bishop to go here and wants it to be up. I don't know why we wouldn't just do the first thing. But, again, why do you play rook e1? Not because it's a check, it's because you're activating the rook. The rook is coming to the middle. It can't be a bad move. And, if you do that, you can then team up with the queen and the rook to put pressure on the bishop, which is probably going to block, right? Just in the, knight a4 is... Now, again, at like a 400 level, I would think, well, that you're threatening the pawn, but it's very clearly protected, so you're obviously not going to take it. G6, okay, a mistake, but black obviously likes putting the bishops on the edges of the board. Still bad, but not horrendous. Okay, now, again, rook e1, bishop b2. Oh, look at that. You know what? Maybe knight a4 made sense after all. You wanted to do connect 4. Wrong game, but frankly, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. You have a very powerful pawn wall. In fact, a few moves ago, you could consider a pawn wall even here. It would have not been a bad option. And then what you would do is play bishop and knight, and you would have a very powerful attack on this diagonal. So you know what? Fine. You have explained yourself sufficiently. Black plays bishop g7. Again, this is your last moment. Folks, when you see an opponent's king dead center in your sights, chances are targeting it is the right move. Rook e1. And as fate would have it, you play bishop to b2 at literally the worst moment since you played the move b3. b3 was played on the 6th move of the game, and only on the 13th, double the time later, did you play bishop b2. Fine, black castles. Okay, now how are we going to play a bad middle game from here? This is actually a very rich position. Rich meaning a lot of possibilities, a lot of imbalances, a lot of pawn breaks. Black might play b5 or c6. White might try to put pressure on this diagonal. White will go here, try to set up... if I'm playing with white, I'm going to try to set up a bishop and queen battery on this diagonal. That's, that looks really appealing to me. Maybe I'll jump my knight into one of these positions. Yeah, I mean, like... it's like... This is like you... you went into the Museum of Natural History and you just vomited on the floor. Like I mean, there is thousands upon thousands of years of history. You are in a very rich, nurturing environment that will cultivate curiosity. Okay, outstanding. Let's proceed. That's just... Okay, now you have the exact same position that I just described, very rich and full of possibilities and ideas, and you just don't have a knight anymore. Okay, let's just proceed like nothing happened. Like, you just ran a car straight through a wall, and you're like, yeah, knight d4, obviously. Okay, bishop a6, not a bad move. You know what I would do here is I would probably play a4 to restrict this pawn. And again, we need to go rook e1. Queen e2, you know, again, I don't hate this move, but, you know, black will go here, probably. Or that, for some reason. Okay, I get it. You know, generally going back with the knight, like 9 times out of 10 at beginner level, will not be the right move. White plays knight c6, okay. By the way, when you're down material in chess, how do you fight back, right? How do we defend in a chess game? I'm currently writing my second book. I'm writing How to Win at Chess 2, and one of the chapters is on defense for intermediate players and early advanced players. You know, maybe you're watching this at a time the book is available. There will be a link in the description. But yeah, you have to defend by either just sitting back and patiently waiting and stopping your opponent's threats, or creating counterplay. One of the ways to create counterplay is to trade pieces near the opponent's king. Black kind of ignores. I here would take the bishop. That's what white does. And now I would replace the bishop with the queen. Fantastic. You see how earlier I said this was one of the worst middle games ever played? It is, but I was, you know, slightly exaggerating. I actually don't mind this. And if I'm playing with black here, I probably try to block things. I don't really want my king to go back and then be severely restricted. If you're ever in a position where you are very close to being checkmated, but it somehow doesn't work, it's not a good feeling. Like, knight here is made if it wasn't for the queen. So right away with white, you got to think rook e1 or queen f6 to enable the move knight e7 check, or start launching your pawns to open up the king. You know, fantastic. The computer gives it this sign, which was like, not good enough. This is like the parent that, you know, you came back from class, you got a 94% on your exam, and your parent says, what happened to the remaining 6%? Toxic parents. They also had toxic parents, all right? You ever felt you weren't good enough in your childhood house? Me, all the time. But, you know, toxic parents they don't come from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They also had it probably very difficult growing up. They never managed to find a level of emotional stability and maturity to make you feel fulfilled as their child. It's not your fault. When did this turn into a therapy session? I don't know. The whole thing has been one therapy session. Point is, knight e7 check, right, is there. And rook e1 is a good move. Black now plays b5. That is so blissfully ignorant. Like, your king has been attacked multiple times. The only, and I literally mean only check in this position for white, with the exception of losing the queen in one move, is knight e7. You must scan these things for your opponent. You must look, does my opponent have any threats? Knight e7 check. After the move rook e1, the game is over. No, but see, now your parents are justified, right? Like, because, you know, in the previous, you actually did a great thing and you didn't get enough credit from your hypothetical situation regarding your parents. But I mean, rook c1 is absurd. No, I mean, but this is, I mean, no, you have to look for threats for yourself and for the opponent, right? Like, and black allows it again, man. Black allows it again, like... And white wakes up. White wakes up, finds knight e7, winning the game on the spot because black simply has to lose the queen. It's the only move. Now white is up a queen for a knight and a bishop, and maybe a pawn? No, not even a pawn. The knight is hanging. Now, the way you win this with white, ideally, trade the rooks. Ideally, get rid of all the rooks, and then the queen picks up some pawns, and then you likely promote a second queen, or you promote a pawn and the opponent has to give up one of the pieces for it and you win an endgame. Don't hang a rook. Okay, so far so good. Keep not hanging a rook. Let's not hang a rook. Okay, we hung a... Now, again, look, white has 3 pieces, that's it. And they are the most powerful. White quite literally has the utmost power, right? How do you not even... Like, this is a fork. You're going to win a rook and give up a knight. This is just a free rook. You have 3 prized possessions here as white, and you gave one away like it was a tissue paper that you used 10 times. I mean, that is crazy. And then for black to move a pawn in the midst of all of this is bananas. White plays rook d6. Another thing that white should do here, like, let's get the queen out of the way first. Let's get the queen out of the way. You know, what white should do here, although even here there is a threat because you're being really bothered, you need to make sure your king can never get back rank mated. As long as your king could get back rank mated, it's a problem. Now, the move that I would play here, obviously you're about to be forked, but if you weren't, is not play it safe. I would use the h-pawn. You need to be aggressive. This is something you should do when the opponent has a pawn in front of their king that is slightly advanced. In a position like this, you're actually very close to opening up black's king and getting a decisive attack. You're also very close to blundering, you know, the game away. And actually what's crazy about this position is this is just about the worst way to utilize the 3 most powerful pieces in chess. Black has a rock-solid center, and you're not going to break through 3 pawns like this unless you use your own pawns. It's kind of like, what is that? The 3 houses? Is it the 3 little pigs? I'm like mixing up my favorite. The one that the wolf tried to blow over all the houses. This is the last house. I mean, it's made of stone, and this is just not going to do it. I mean, you're not going to be able to... And by the way, black's major asset now is this pawn and should start advancing it. Okay, black keeps making solo attacking moves. Black actually can almost win the game if they start advancing the pawn. That's a little bit hard to come up with, though. Queen c5. Again, a4 now, completely winning. Okay, black obviously, very sneakily, going for a checkmate. Very nice. Well protected. However, the better move here practically is to use this pawn as an attacking mechanism, not a defensive one. Black just gives the check out of inertia. This is typical 900 chess, even if I think time was maybe a bit lower here, we're later into the game. Just because there is a check does not mean you have to play the check. But I will already forgive the players. Finding counterplay with the pawn is not easy. And you had the perfect position. There is a saying, 4 out of 5 times in chess, if you can push a pass pawn, it is the best move on the board. 80% of the time. Like in a position like this, provided you're not under any threat, it's probably the best move. Now you're kind of far away from doing that, and you're still not doing it. Not only are you not doing it, you've now lost the pawn. Queen takes a5. As far as I'm concerned, all practical chances for black are gone. They're gone. You're never getting to this king. It's not possible even if white tries to lose. The only thing that now white can do wrong in this position is blunder in one move. Just straight up leave a piece to be taken. Knight attacks the rook. Okay. By the way, I would maybe even sacrifice the rook here for the pawn and the bishop just to then launch an attack. White prefers to do it this way. By the way, I don't know why this is given a double question mark. Actually, I have no idea why this is given a double question mark. Bishop takes. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I would do this. The computer is saying don't do it, but practically speaking, I think that this is the right decision. Now, just don't take with the queen and lose your other rook. You got to take with the rook. Nice. Like I said, practically speaking, I think this is everything that you should do. Computer thinks that it's equal. I'm not so sure. I think a queen is going to be more than capable of bullying the position here. So, here we go. Ready? Queen d2. We lose the game on the spot. Why? Check. Check. Whenever you attack a knight, make sure it does not have a way to jump and counterattack you. This would have been fine, but you always have to look for checks. Queen d2 belongs in a book. and it might even go into my second book. Is there a problem with the move queen d2? It's a 2-move combo. You don't even consider this move. Black plays knight e4 straight away. Not a single move from this point forward is going to. You're about to see a lot of question marks. Queen d4. Oh! Oh! No, you cannot. No. The king cannot. He can't be open like this. No, he's weak. No, you can't. No, because now you just go straight for the king. That's what you do. No, you gotta go for the king. You gotta go for the golden snitch. Queen d3 now. The rook jumps out of the way. Yep. Now I still go here and come forward. You got this. Just loses the rook in one move. You had so many moves that didn't lose the rook. How did you just give it away for nothing? Oh my goodness. Okay. At least give a check. At least give a check. At least give a check and win it back. You went here attacking it, but you could have went here and... Oh, now the knight's just going to go back to exactly where it was. Yep. Now, saving grace. Black's king is weak. How do you win this position with black? Double up your rooks, coordinate, defend your king, advance, open up white's king, launch an attack. Do not, by any means, separate your rooks. Do not separate your rooks. Okay, not only did you separate your rooks, you straight up gave it away. Okay, fantastic. Straight up gave it away. Now it's a draw. You lose a full rook, it's a draw. Why is it a draw? Black is just stuck in a little corner here. There is, if black plays the game correctly, white should not be able to infiltrate and actually cause any sort of damage. Again, a computer can draw this position with black. So can a human. Not these humans, though. Rook d8. We're going to separate the next rook from the king and lose that one as well. Queen e5. Very nice move. Okay, that's what we've done. We've put every piece on the worst possible square. Queen e6 check forces the king to either this square, or this square, all of which blunder a fork. You needed the knight to protect, and you needed the rook to stay close. If you gave me, like, a $1 billion check, I still would not be able to explain this move. I actually just straight up, I don't even, like, maybe you tried to go there and it was a fork. I don't know. Time was low, no problem. Knight e4 back, queen a4. Maybe the strategy is be as far away as possible because maybe the opponent's going to blunder something. By the way, this move blunders queen a2 check, which is a fork. Close enough. That move also blunders a fork. Okay, close enough. Now the king runs to safety. Queen f3. Knight back to e4. Pawn to h4, which corrals the black king, taking away some important squares, but otherwise doesn't do a whole lot. Rook d2 is excellent piece coordination, and now white loses the game. White loses the game because here black has a beautiful little tactic. Again, you have to be very good with your knight. Knight f2 check would be really lovely, and if the queen was on that square, it would be a fork. And that's how you come up with moves like rook to d3. Provided queen takes rook is not a check. Rook d3 is a beautiful move. It's an attraction tactic, and knight f2 check becomes possible, and then black would win the game. But the final hurdle is avoided, and the game will promptly end in a draw after a couple of more accurate moves. White simply does not have the firepower here, so what black should do here is just come back and protect the king. Right? The knight is hanging, the rook is hanging, but you move the knight with a check, and then you bring the rook back. That's obviously far too sophisticated. Instead, we're going to do it like this, and we're going to lose the knight, and now we are going to be completely lost. But to make sure that we lose the game, we're going to blunder our rook. Black is going to blunder the rook on h4. White is not going to take the rook on h4, and now it's a draw probably. And then black is going to really double down here and end up giving away the rook like this. And resigning. Or losing on time, I think, is the technical way this game ended. Oh. You know what I normally do at the end of How to Lose at Chess videos? What I normally do is I just end the video in a dramatic way. But I'm going to recommend that everybody who wants to improve at chess watches the How to Lose at Chess playlist, because the point of it is it is hilarious. And you must remember, we're not laughing and insulting the intelligence of people. We are laughing at the pain of the learning curve of chess. There are a small percentage of people that watch these videos and feel offended on behalf of others, but that's 2025. People don't need a second excuse or reason to get offended by something they see on the internet. They are choosing to do that. In reality, I fully understand the difficulty of improving at the game of chess. I struggle to improve to my next level, which would be the Grandmaster title. And a friendly reminder that we're all in this together. Laugh at yourselves first, and then and only then laugh at others. Hope you enjoyed the video. You can check out my educational platform, Chessly, as a beginner or intermediate player. Like I said, I've got book 1 out already. Book 2 is on the way. Very excited for it. And I'm going on tour May 2025 in Europe. Looking forward to it very much. Anna Kramling will be joining me in Brussels. Danny Wrench will be joining me in London on May 9th. I've got a whole group of Polish folks that are going to be joining me in Warsaw, and many, many more to be announced. So that's all I have for you today. What a game. Get out of here.